Whoa.
We're here! It's a thing! We're live!
Where are we?
Monthly minutes!
Monthly what?
Monthly minutes. It's me, your host, your GM, I don't know. I'm here. I'm Sierra, aka Mystic. And I have friends with me.
Hi.
Who are you all?
Hi, I'm Liz. I'm the
so
one
awkward.
that nobody ever forgets to remind that I'm the oldest on the podcast, and I'm delighted to be here tonight. What's up?
Whoever says that, whoever reminds
Literally
you of that.
everyone. I'm starting to feel like the cigarette aunt of the group.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly Avis always being like, "Hi, I'm Avis, and I'm the youngest of the group."
Yep.
Yeah,
But it's fine.
that's not. I'm Adam. I he him. I also go by Fondue Rage in some circles, but I'm here and I play Godfrey on the podcast.
It's a much better intro.
It's okay. We're all awkward in our own ways, and that's what makes us perfect human beings.
Word up. For sure.
Yeah.
Well, cool. This is Monthly Minutes, where we recap past episodes. We answer random questions. If you have questions for anyone here, put them in the chat. We'll answer them at the end or maybe during. We'll see. The chat's a little behind us actually talking for anyone that is watching. So just a heads up there.
We're not ignoring you.
We're not ignoring you.
It's a technology limitation.
Yeah, we have a few episodes to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about episodes 38 through 42.
Yeah.
And man, oh man, does it ramp up. It ramps up, y'all.
It's ramp season, so
It does.
yeah,
Oh
that
my God, there's so
we ramped up for ramp. Help. This is all off the cuff.
Someone give us an onion meme.
Yes.
Cool. Should we dive in? Y'all want to have anything else to add? Should we just go?
Let's just do it.
Let's dive.
Let's
go
dive.
in.
All right. Episode 38 is called The Null Base. Oh, yes.
What happened in the null base?
I don't know, honestly.
It was the first of two like pure combat episodes, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It starts off with us being found by the patrolling knoll, and then we just fight gnolls.
Yeah. The I don't know was sarcasm. Maybe I'm too dry today. That's like the third time that's happened.
Well, no. So Scylla partially like didn't know what happened because I rocked up towards the tail end of that whole thing.
Well,
So in earnest, Scylla was like, "What the hell happened here?"
Yeah. So leading up to this, y'all had followed the angry mob up the road. You found the gnolls. Scylla came running. You took like a short rest, like maybe 20 minutes. And then Godfrey was like, "Oh, look, I found a trail. Let's go." And you all headed down the trail. And exactly like you said, Adam, you tried to stealth. Morgus rolled a nat 1. You all were spotted by the patrolling gnolls, and you started fighting at the gnoll base.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this just like in general chit chat in play sessions, but I mean, were you all feeling as depleted as you realized you were in that fight going into the fight?
Yeah. Yep. I think there were certain points in it where we were like, "Oh, okay, let's fight a little. Now let's go." Okay, all right, we chipped away a little. Now let's go. And like every time we were like, "Okay, let's go," we were like, "Oh, just pick off another one." And it's like, "Oh, we're getting so depleted right now."
Yeah. Absolutely. But at the
Right.
start, Adam, you drank that potion of possibility.
Yeah,
Give you a little boost.
it's a cool potion.
I was surprised when you used them so quickly.
Yeah, I'm a person who typically doesn't use the things I'm given.
Oh.
So instead, I try now in games to use things immediately so I don't waste them.
That's fair. I always forget I have bardic inspiration and then I never use it. And then the bard's always like,
Yes.
what the fuck?
Okay, I will say, I think Bardic Inspiration is one of the most difficult mechanics to use because you could use it after you see the roll. So sometimes
Yeah.
when you should use it, you're like, no, the odds are too low. I'm not going to waste it. And then you only roll good, so then you never have an opportunity to use it after that. And so it just ends up not being used. It feels
So you're saying,
bad
like,
for the bard.
bardic inspiration is like the anti-curse of rolling. Like it instantly makes you roll better.
Yeah.
Yes, it makes you roll extreme. Either
I
really
think-
bad or really good.
The threat of like bardic intervention is like real.
Yeah. No one
Like I
wants-
think the threat of the bard getting involved is like
Yeah.
I'm a bard, I can say that.
Well, yeah, so we go into this fight. You are all fairly depleted. Adam, I want to just have this on the record for the listeners. Now, I know we've talked about this, but like there was a very specific reason that you specifically trudged forward, and then the party were just like, okay, we're going to go where Godfrey goes. Yeah. Was that hard as like a mechanics guy to be like, this is not in my favor, but this is what my character would do?
Yeah, hard as a mechanic guy to be like, I'm possibly leading my party to a TPK, but they're not going to stop me, so I guess we'll go. I mean, yes and no, because I feel like it always makes good story if it doesn't come up. And no matter what the outcome is, it could either feed into what was going on, or it could act as like a narrative stint to try to improve upon that, or for it to be, found by the group and questioned and
Yeah.
explored. But things went really well instead.
Things went well.
Yeah. All things considered, like we were destroyed at the end of the fight, but no one died. And that's,
I think we did pretty well. I don't even think anyone really came close.
no, we came really close.
We came really close. Yeah, I feel like I was dipping into the health pool a little bit at the end and just like here.
I was definitely at 2 HP at a couple points. I'm pretty sure Zibba was at 3 HP at one point. I'm pretty sure you got crit pretty early on. That would have taken my entire health pool away. Like, we had some close calls.
Yeah, I ate shit pretty early on.
Every single person had gotten a charge of my healer's kit during the fight. We used double potions on the fight. Like, we used everything.
Except for
Yeah,
Livy,
so
who just
good.
like stood on the roof of that building for so long and then was like, I'm gonna drink this random potion, and just like hulked out, and then was like,
Yeah.
I'm buff now. And then he realized he had the same HP and was like, Scylla, help me.
I'm you. I'm still weak.
The strength immediately feeds into my hubris.
That's the real trick of that potion. It wasn't the size it gives you, it's the outrageous sense of ego.
Yeah.
Itty bitty HP box.
Oh, that'd be such a good, like, cursed potion. Right?
Don't give her ideas, man.
It's a potion of excessive ego. It makes you feel
Oh.
like you got a lot of boost.
That's gonna be in the game now.
It's gotta be. So-
There is a cursed item in. I'm gonna tease this. There is a cursed item in the game that makes you slowly put yourself above everyone else. Every time you use it, it increases, which is kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is it that ring I have?
No,
Okay. Cool.
You would
fair.
know. I would have told you already if you had it.
It's not one of those things that's like slowly happening over the campaign, and by the end, you're like Tony Stark, and you don't even know it.
No,
Yeah,
but it's
no,
also
one
like
of those things. One person
Yeah, it's one of-
has it, but we don't know.
it's one of those things where like I'm not gonna put that in the game and not have a conversation with you about it to make sure you're good with it, you know?
That's why you're fantastic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so the two 38 and 39 are the Knoll battle.
Mhm.
I talked about my highlight already, although there's another highlight or two. Like, I loved the Godfrey Ziba dynamic of that fight so much. Like at the end, like the back to back and the way
Mhm.
that you provided flanking for each other and just like we're truly operating as a team. That was really cool for me. That and the Livy bulk buff out.
Mhm.
And just the start of it, like Daniel's
Yes.
not one to start the whole thing. It was just like
Mm.
so the dice were telling such a great story for us, you know.
Yeah, the introduction to Scylla's bleed spell.
Oh,
I forgot about
Also,
did you catch that? The fuck is the paladin doing with bleed?
what the fuck is bleed?
What the fuck is bleed?
The other-
I don't know. What I'm playing a lot of Elden Ring, and it's funny because bleed
Yeah.
does very much the same thing.
I put down in my notes something that you said out of character about the bleed because I was like,
Oh.
oh no. Where it was like, what does this mean? I have
This
to.
is exactly what I
have
wanted.
to poke about this. Like, this is, call upon the powers of our patron, Scylla for smite. What she truly believes in, bloody stained glass. Is what I have
Oh.
written in my notes. I was like, what?
Yeah.
This wasn't spoken aloud, but I have to keep
Hmm.
my eyes on this as a player. to
She
try
praised
to
to
find-
Mysteria.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Just,
it's just
like-
a Mysteria thing. Yeah, just boy.
I mean, yeah, man. Family's been at it for years. I just listen. Maybe we're just a little bit more in tune to it than you are.
Fair. Absolutely fair.
Yeah, what were you Adam, was that would you say that was the highlight of those two episodes? That combat for you is the bleed spell? Anything else you want to highlight?
I mean, that was definitely one highlight. I feel like everyone had a moment. Kind of like
Yeah.
you said, I feel like the development more of that dynamic between Ziba and Godfrey working together like in combat was really cool. I think we all like stuck together. I found it really interesting that there were so many instances of people being like, we gotta go, but then nobody left. Even when Godfrey was like, all right, just leave then. Just go. Like, if you're gonna go, just go. Like, we gotta, because Godfrey's not gonna leave. And I don't think the party understood that Godfrey was not gonna leave.
Why didn't Godfrey want to? What about this is like the thing that he had to stick it out for?
It feeds into a particular. I don't know how much Mystic wants me to give away,
I mean, yeah, you don't have to.
but it feeds into one of his character flaws and things that have happened to him in the background. So it was a thing where he wasn't going to leave this because of the way he was built and the background he has and the history he has in the world.
So all right, so we've obviously like no, that puts so much into perspective for me as like because we are going to follow you. Like I think that's a thing is that we've kind of established like we would listen to you. Man's got ulterior motives.
Yeah,
Man's got motivations that like
Everyone's got their own shit, man.
yeah. No one's talked to him about it.
no.
one knows. And that's also part of him. Like he struggles to like create friendships with people, and he treats this whole organization as something very professional.
Daniel says Godfrey isn't a dog person. ...
The deep lore. Godfrey's terrified of dogs. Every time
Oh.
incessant barking is cast, just another kick on that mark towards Livy.
Oh my gosh.
Wasn't
this is not a spoiler because we streamed the one shot that we did, so I'm gonna talk about it. But Ross, the leader of the Textile Council, one of his like key traits, I like to give my NPCs like just little key like quirks, is that he's deathly afraid of pickles. I don't know if anyone else picked up on that, but
I absolutely picked up. I was like, why is he talking about the pickles? Like, is this a plot thread? Can we be worried about the pickles? Like, why is this line being thrown out?
no, you just have
until
to
the very end. When
you have to make your NPCs real, man. You gotta give them something. Anyway,
We could have turned that whole thing into like a bad episode of Maury where we bring him back like a jar of pickles. That's where they used to do that shit where it's like, we're going to exploit your deepest fears and then bring it out on stage for you to confront it in front of 1,000 people.
it was actually based off of this person that I knew in high school who would literally run to another room if they saw a pickle. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, we Liz, what are your highlights from the Knoll base fight, which is where we really escalated that one around there on that tangent.
I'm with you. I'm loving the relationship and the building between Dee Dee and Godfrey, especially after being in Libby's care with that transferal of like guidance looks like. Yeah, no, I think that was totally a highlight, and just seeing how that is kind of coming around, and the realizations that I think Ziba is making about this whole thing and her time adventuring.
Yeah. Gold star for Avis.
Very
Well,
good.
cool. You all defeat the Knolls. We had a really interesting conversation after that fight about as soon as we like hit stop on the record button, and y'all were like, so we're leveling up. And I was like, no, that's not how this campaign works.
Yeah.
And then we talked about the XP, and it's a lot. And yeah, that was a fun behind the curtain moment. Then the next session, we pick up, and you all are destroyed. You take a short rest. The half orcish mob leader comes and finds you, and you get some carts, you clear out the stolen items, you leave the Knolls where they be, and you head back to the Lying Woodpecker, where you find Kevin behind the counter, and there's like an awkward exchange, and Ed was like, that's suspicious. He's now a suspect, which I didn't want it to be suspicious. I wanted it to be what Liz called out, which is just like such strong himbo energy. He like can't emotionally like grasp what is happening.
Yeah.
So that was really fun for me. Because that's what's important, right? My entertainment.
That's why you do this. It's why you
Yeah.
shake us all up in this little world.
Yeah. You gotta get the enjoyment out of it too.
I'm just kidding. But
Gotta make the ants do fun shit.
you all head to bed, except for Livy, who is half elvish and just doesn't really need to sleep. I mean, half elvish and Dampier, which listeners know. He decides to go on a little solo adventure
To get up to.
mixing it up. The potion shop, Philip's potion shop, that was the last place that Philip was seen before he went missing. And I'm really curious what you all were thinking as this was happening. This all was playing out.
I'll let Adam.
Let me go. I was like all up making plans for what Godfrey was gonna do the next morning. Like I had looked at my notes and I had found the name of the person who I get custom clothes made from. I was starting to like mock up a letter to write. I was starting to do all of these things, and then it was like, yeah, I go on the adventure to the shop, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's just gonna scope it out. He's going in the window. Oh.
He's going
Oh,
in.
we're not going to get a full rest, are we?
He's sneaking in.
Yeah, he's sneaking in. He's doing it. He's going solo. He's going rogue. He's doing
Yeah.
He's doing the best, which, I commend because I think it made for a cool story moment.
It really did.
Oh. It's definitely very not intrinsic what usually happens in D&D. It's usually, it's splitting the party, it's doing something solo. But from a story perspective, I think it's really interesting and cool and created these moments for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. I love Ed's pain. I love when Ed creates these moments where I know we're gonna get into it, but like Ed's reactions and Ed's like emotional responses to things, I think are some of the most entertaining like little moments in acting and playing that I think started with this whole shop incident. And his like the way that he played it afterwards and like how distraught and how he brought it up to the party, I think was really beautiful and like a different kind of tone than I'm used to experiencing in like role playing with. So I think the fallout of it was both really heartbreaking and really entertaining.
Yeah.
I know that's super twisted to like relish in your players, your fellow players' own pain, but I just think he does it so well.
No, I mean, you're relishing in the acting, the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's.
Yeah. I thought he felt bad for like blowing up this man's shop, which this man absolutely blew up himself by booby trapping it within.
Yeah.
Like, what's this guy's insurance policy like?
Yeah, I wrote about this in the like behind the DM screen feature for the Patreon subscribers about how really all Ed had to do to prevent that from happening was pass a DC 15 investigation check to see the rune on the floor. And that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a really weird thing for me as a DM to play out these like major consequences or things that like feel major. Like when it's just like fate at a certain point, right? It's like the dice have decided. The chaos of the world has happened. So yeah, Livy sneaks in. He just walks up the wall, walks in the window, which is why he wanted to go alone, because the party still doesn't know he's a Dhampir, and he doesn't even know if Morgus knows if he's a Dhampir still. And he goes in, he fails that investigation check. He gets a little bit of knowledge, but not really anything to help the party in terms of finding Philip. And then it just, I think I said Skyrim level rune explosion because that's what I picture every time. Because I used to just run through those dungeons and just, and then you're dead and you're like, oh, shit. You all, I made a little, tweaked the rules of prestidigitation in that a sound was loud enough for the party to be woken up. You all are woken up. You find Livy's note he left. You ask the owners, Zara, Aurora, Kevin, what to do in these situations. They tell you that there's a assembly line that will form by the fountain, and you all go and try and help. Did you think there was any chance at that point of saving the building?
Fuck no. Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah.
Adam?
How much time had passed at that point?
It's like 15 minutes.
And then it was
20
like
minutes.
a 20-minute walk to the line.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. The assembly line stops. They say that
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, go ahead.
What was Philip hiding? What was so important to create a rune that would destroy the building with no countermeasure to save the building? What was in that shop that we never found.
Or the basement.
That's a constant thought I've had with it fully burning down. Because a wizard with the capability to create the rune that would trigger when someone like exploded the shop would surely have the ability to make sure it didn't destroy the shop if they wanted to, right? But his intention was for this whole thing to burn down. And we know
And,
he
like-
was experimenting on potions, but was that it? We'll never know.
Is that because the carousel court in Wimpston is what it is, that he had to have higher security? Or, like, does he have higher security for other reasons?
Oh,
Because like,
Yeah.
Wimpston feels like a town that, like, you're not going to get necessarily robbed in, because, like, look who the help is.
Who are Philip's enemies? Who is after him and his secrets?
This whole campaign just became about Philip.
Yep.
Well, you never even went back to like see if the building had actually burnt down. The water passing just stopped, and then you all went the other direction. You went outside of town, out into the orchards to regroup and figure out what to do. Having all only had a short rest, you've been up for a long time with only short rests at this point. You begin chatting, and at that point, I think the party's just like, fuck. What are we gonna do? And I honestly don't remember who had the idea. I think it was you or Godfrey that was like, we need to go this way. Zara said she felt something this way. And then there were red lights in the sky. And that changed those plans. And you all decided to go to the Ranger Tower, which is around where the closest red light was emanating from. Was that hard for you to make that decision?
As a group, I think like once those lights went up, our sense of urgency changed pretty quickly. Like we went from not knowing what we were heading towards to being like, oh, okay, that looks like a thing that needs attention. So I think as we're like finding our footing as a party and like realizing what it is we're going after, like that's one of those alerts that we just kind of picked up on and pivoted. I don't know if Adam feels differently.
Yeah, no, the exact same. I feel like as soon as it was like, oh, suddenly red pillars of light have entered the sky and this is bad, I think everyone was like, yeah, this is an easy decision. It sucks that none of us had a long rest. That's really bad. But we're not going to go back to bed. Like, no one here is going to go back to sleep and finish a long rest. Like, we got to go to that light. Like, that's important. And it's really easy for me to say that because I'm playing a monk, which is a short rest class. Right? But
yeah, if they'd have been
more
like
difficult.
soft blue lights, I don't think like we'd have been like, oh, it's fine. We'll get back to it later.
a beautiful golden light. Like, ah,
Yeah.
good things are happening.
That's fine. I'm sure that's something we can meander over to after a long rest. And it's like, no, fuck, we got to get to those things.
Yeah, it's probably like the Seder party or whatever. You know, that thing we heard about. I'm sure it's fine. No, but like, how many pillars of red light did you say that there were? Because there were like multiple, right?
I think there's
We just
5
went to the
total.
closest one. All right, yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
It's
I've just-
fine. It's fine.
I'm not worried.
I've just constantly got the book open on my other screen. The book, the anthology, the God Guide.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Great. The next episode, Buzz, we run to the red lights. As you get close, I alert the party to the fact that you would have. I think we rolled a history check, and someone rolled high enough to know that you had a bounty in your pocket that called out that there were murderous mosquitoes on the bridge that needed to be cleared.
Giant mosquitoes.
Giant murdering mosquitoes.
Yeah.
that fight was hilarious to me.
What the fuck was that fight?
I look back on that too, and I think about like all of the planning that went in prior. Like there was a whole thing of like, oh yeah, let's just run by them, let's just ignore them. Like the giant mosquitoes, and I think, at least in my mind, when giant mosquitoes were mentioned, I was thinking of horse-sized mosquitoes,
Mm.
like giant mosquitoes. Then after clarification, it's like, no, it's just like bird-sized mosquitoes.
Hmm.
And then I was like, oh, let's just kill them. Like it's just bird-sized mosquitoes. Like we could just swat them and they'll die. Like it's fine. They're
Yeah,
just
wait, who's
bugs.
got a book in their bag? Let's just... But you do that. You overthink because you want it to be good, and I think after coming out of something where you just got like absolutely rocked, we naturally were like, well, let's be a little bit more careful with this. And I think I was in the same camp where I thought they were like horse-sized mosquitoes. But I think you overthink things after coming out of something like we did from the previous episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Livy drank a potion of silence.
The bard drank a potion of silence.
The highlight.
I was waiting for that moment, to be honest. I was like, this is going to happen at the best possible time.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I'm honestly glad it happened in that fight. I'm not like, I want Livy to be able to heal people when he needs to.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Godfrey drank a potion of flying.
Yeah. I was really lucky.
Gave Scylla his darts, which he rolled in that one, threw it into a bush.
Yeah, Scylla's not like, I mean, if you were to find Scylla on like a Friday night, she's obviously not on some sort of like league for like darts. She's probably, working the door. So like activities like that, probably not such a thing. Maybe something that gets hung up in like Ulu's wing at the carousel court though when we get back to like practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get some like ranged experience in.
Yeah. Heck yeah. What were your reactions when you all realized how little HP each of these mosquitoes had? Or did you know beforehand? Was there some metagaming involved there?
I don't want to talk about that. Next. Like, it's embarrassing. It was so awful.
It was pretty great. Once the first hit went in, it was like, oh, it took 1 damage and died. Like, oh, yeah.
Pop.
Yeah, they're just bird-sized mosquitoes. So like, what do we expect?
I rolled
Like, I
stats
try
for
not to
those.
metagame, but I did absolutely know that they only had like 1 to 3 HP.
Yeah.
Being giant mosquitoes.
I didn't. And then I don't trust, though, that the next time we come up across something like that we're going to be like, oh, it's just like a little swarm of toads. And it's like, no, surprise. It's like, it's just the thing that's on the back of this thing.
We should also be terrified of anything that's a swarm of anything.
Right. Be like, yeah.
It's terrifying.
Look at her face. Look at her face. Those colors also look great on you, by the way. And that's not me kissing up so that you don't kill us with something like that next time. You do look, yeah.
Buzz. Godfrey's flying. Livy uses a sword. I think one of them bit Godfrey once and like attached and then that was it. And you make it through. You make it over. Godfrey, you fly ahead and you spot a giant cyclops at the base of the ranger tower. It looks like it's talking to something. That was as much information as I gave you, and I'm very curious. Like, I mean, obviously I know what the party did, but like, what were you all thinking at that point? Excuse me, sorry. Were you just like, yeah, let's go that way. This could be bad. Like what?
Yeah, I was pretty much like, this is bad. Question mark. Like I try not to immediately jump to conclusions on things based on like what they are, monsters race wise, because it might not have been a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think our course of action by the end of that episode kind of confers that idea. Is we weren't immediately like this is a bad thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it was definitely like this is concerning. Red light, Cyclops. Okay.
Yeah. Because I keep asking you these questions like you didn't know what was coming. And I feel like this is the main point where like you genuinely start to not know in certain ways what is coming.
For me, having like a little bit of like prior from the Wednesday game,
Mm-hmm.
I really, and like here's the funny thing with me, my memory is crap anyway, so I'm an ideal target for like playing in a casual game with a similar story. But we're not making the same choices. We're not making the same choices, and this is it really is so far from what we've experienced in the other game, that I don't know. The interaction that we had in the most recent episodes were not the same as the other one. And the tone is very different, and the way that we're interacting is very different. So yeah, you're right. I think this is definitely a point where like I am very much heading into the unknown, which I'm really excited for.
Yeah.
I'm super into that.
That's cool. We all decide to head towards the tower. Kudos to you. Run towards danger as heroes should. And to get close, Livy rolls, I think, a nat 1 on his stealth or something, but it doesn't really matter because you know to like stay back. Like this is not a situation where it's like super, super important. And you make a plan on what to do in regards to the tower. You see a well-dressed person hanging out. You see a green dragon with a saddle on its back. You see the red light protruding from the top of this tower that's been crushed outwards. And you see a pile of dead bodies, which I forgot to tell you in the session.
Yeah, that was
Sorry, did you-
jarring.
Did you just call it a green dragon? Did you just
What?
is it a green, did you
There's
just
a-
say green dragon?
Did I say dragon? I meant lizard.
Yeah.
You
There's
said
a
dragon.
green lizard with
Yeah. I was
a
pretty sure it was a lizard.
saddle
I was
on
like,
its back.
Okay, I know we just said that like I forget about the Wednesday game, but like I would just like to reassure Adam that when I saw this thing, I was not alarmed. Our baby, I don't think that's gonna never mind. I don't think that's gonna happen in this game, but I saw that scaly boy and I was like, oh, that's not gonna happen in this one though.
So you do some like Godfrey flies around, does some scouting. You all try and make a plan. And Livy and Scylla, Livy first decides to go just talk to these people. You find out that they're looking for a young girl that can shapeshift into a woman and has wings and is orange and blue and pink and red. And then we cut to the next episode, this week's episode.
What an episode! What an episode!
I listened to it this morning.
Called That's Not How This Works. Daniel says, no, you may not keep the scaly boy as a pet. And
What?
Don't tell us what to do.
Yeah, I know a druid that would absolutely like argue that.
So yes, it's the first split of a few party splits that are about to happen. So you break out another new spell to everyone as you are an emissary of peace walking through the gates.
Yeah.
You meet this person who you find out is Erebus, and the Cyclops goes away down the path looking for this person. You see a bunch of small shadow-like creatures inside. and you have a very interesting conversation with Arevis. I love so much that Scylla doesn't poke and prod at Livy during this conversation in those moments. Instead, you're just like, let's go. Are you okay? Like, very reassuring. Like, that is such an amazing interaction between you and Ed. It's really
Thanks.
great. Yeah.
I'm super proud of that interaction. And I don't know if I haven't talked to Ed about any of this, but I recognize that situation as something very real in my own experiences as a queer person. And I don't know if I read into that and play that as a situation and identified situations that have become very dangerous for friends of mine. And in that moment where somebody is trying to use an identity against you in front of other people, that I feel like this is getting really like really, something. But I feel like I kind of latched onto that and I identified that as a real life situation where I would not have given a fuck what this other person is like trying to do by using somebody's identity to bait me against them. And so I think that was a really like, I had a super proud moment. I enjoyed that conversation a lot. I don't know. I want to talk to Ed and see if there was any of that like resonated for him. But for me, especially, that was what I took away from it.
Yeah. And all the while, Godfrey and Morgus and myself as Ziba, because Avis was busy, end of college career things coming up. Congratulations to Avis again for graduating and officially becoming an engineer.
They're so brainy.
I know. And you all are doing all kinds of like listening and reconnaissance and planning. There's a moment where Godfrey flies up to the tower and you see a frog creature reading a book around these runes that are bringing forth this red light. And there's a really hilarious interaction between you and Morgus about what came from that light.
Yeah. I felt bad about it, like listening back to it, because I'm realizing now in the moment, I was not understanding what he was trying to say. And like part of it feeds into the role play because Godfrey isn't really that smart and he's not charismatic at all. So we wouldn't understand that. But like that's also like like with me, I was like, Daniel, I see now in listening back what you were saying. I understand. I'm sorry. But also I'm glad it made for at least like a funny break in like the tenseness. Yeah, tension kind of scene. Like, it's like this, not like it's like this, not like this.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It came out of that. It's like, Morgus, you don't understand. This thing's giant.
If you're on the same page as your castmates or even playing D&D.
Let's just go do something. Yes.
Let's just go help. Let's go help.
How are we going to help? I loved that too. Yes. Okay, but what are we going to do?
I don't know. Just like listen again. Just listen. Like our plan's
fantastic.
Gonna fail. Like this is bad.
Yeah. There's a shift in the conversation with Scylla and Livy where Arevis is kind of just like done talking. Let's get down to business. She tries to charm Scylla and Scylla saves and is just like, you don't have to do that to me, which was an amazing comeback to that. I fucking loved that. And then Ed is still just like frozen. Livy's frozen, trying to figure out what to do in this situation. And Godfrey has already sent Morgus and Ziba down the road, reluctantly. I have to know, Adam, like, were you like, Godfrey might die, and this is fine, what I'm about to do?
Yeah, no, it was all bad. Like, it was, as soon as like that name drop was dropped and we knew who we were dealing with or what we were dealing with, even if we don't know like the scope of what it is, right, or how powerful it is or what it does, Like, there's no way we're engaging with that. And like, hopefully, like the hope was Livy and Scylla were able to deal with the situation in a way where they were able to get away or to talk their way out of it, right? But I knew as Godfrey that there was the possibility that he would have to try to intervene and hope that they could get away. And he was more than comfortable making that decision and that call.
And so our skull-masked friend jumps in, grapples a god. You don't even want to know what I rolled on that. And Scylla and Livy very reluctantly get away, run down the road. In normal non-streaming games, I have 2 channels in our Discord. One's for gameplay and one's called Whispering. And normally in this situation, I would just pull Adam down so that I could for sure ensure that no one else can listen or hear. But instead, because we're using, a digital platform that's meant for audio recording and podcasting, I had to just ask everyone to mute and take off their headphones, and then I would put a message in the Discord for y'all to come back. I genuinely hope everyone didn't listen. It seems like no one did, but Liz, for you, were you tempted at all? Were you like, oh my gosh, no?
No, I'm normally, it's funny. I'm someone who doesn't mind spoilers if people like spoil books or movies for me, but I feel like I'm pretty good with like not trying to spoil stuff for myself if I really don't want to. So I didn't hear shit. I like tried to turn my head and like took my earphones out. I didn't want to know because I also kind of wanted to be horrified.
Yeah, you listened to the episode though, right? So
oh yeah. And I wasn't even sure if I could listen to the episode yet. I almost put in our Discord, like, can we hear this yet? Is this going to affect like what's going to happen next? Or because we're not out of this yet. Like,
yeah. What were your reactions listening?
I'm scared. I'm really scared, like genuinely, as both like a listener and as Scylla. Yeah, that's all I got. I have no speculation, or I'm just so nervous for like what the consequences of this are going to be.
Yeah.
Or this just goes in a totally new direction and we change the literal shape of the party.
Yeah. So, Adam, you knew this was a long shot. Did you come in with like a calculated, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to try to do this, and then I'm going to do this? Or was it all just like, yeah?
No, I think it comes across too, because like in everything, it's like, all right, it's your turn. And usually I know exactly what I'm going to do in combat because I try to do that to streamline it, X, Y, and Z reason. But no, as soon as it was like, all right, you've got her grappled and it's your turn, what do you do? I have no idea. No plan.
And try to tie her hand.
Would work. Yeah, I tried to tie her hand. I was like,
Not
that
one.
Sure, yep. I'm going to try. Yeah. Oh, I'll drop the rope. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
You get bit. You get hit with a dagger.
I didn't get hit with the dagger.
Oh, no, you didn't get hit with the dagger, right?
I was hoping I would get hit with the dagger so I could finally deflect missiles for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But alas, it was not in the cards.
Mm-hmm. And then being a short rest character, you had ki to spare to yeet yourself literally out of the situation.
The fuck out of there.
And you just run through the woods. Just
that's the
run.
end of this episode.
And that's the end of this episode.
So is he okay? Like,
I had almost asked you too for the rest of the work. Like, I wanted to send a Discord message and didn't end up doing it, but I was tempted to be like, for the rest of this episode, do you just want me to sit quietly and call?
No.
I like what we did.
I like what we did too. Oh my god.
Oh, so excited for the next episode.
And that
I have not stopped thinking about this to anyone in chat for the last month since we recorded this episode. It's been at least a solid several times a day where I'm like, oh no,
Yeah, we literally the end of next week's episode is the end of our play sessions, and we don't get to play again from that ending until next Thursday.
So we genuinely have no idea like what, because we went straight into that one shot.
Ruh-roh. Anyway, it's time for Q&A. Pop your questions in the chat if you have any. And yeah. I have a question. What animal friend would Scylla or Godfrey have? If you could have a familiar, what would it be?
I feel like Scylla likes animals, but I feel like Scylla doesn't keep pets.
Mm-hmm.
Like Scylla doesn't mind animals at all, but Scylla's not going to own a pet. Maybe somebody like gave her a fish or a gecko that she's had to like begrudgingly take care of, like something weird and like self-sustaining.
Yeah.
Turtle.
This might be me feeding kind of into Godfrey's visual aesthetics, but I imagine like a raven or a crow.
Mm. Yeah.
Magpie.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Some
that's
sort of
foreshadowing, Adam.
Mm.
Sorry. That's so foreshadowing.
Is it?
What? Nothing's. It's fine. I got away. It's okay.
Insight check.
Great. Do you all have any questions?
What is it for you about playing Erebus that you enjoy? Because that's clearly like you're into playing that character, and it comes across really good. And like, so what about that? Well, because you're so not that though is the thing. Like you're not that as a person. Like, what about that character are you super into playing, and how do you do that so well? So it's like another like. How do you do that so well?
I just tried to imaginarily push up the glasses I'm not wearing. Do y'all ever do that? Nervous tick. I don't know. I just did it. I think sometimes I wish I could be mean to people because it's not me. I also like, I don't know if everyone knows this, but I grew up in theater. Like I started my college career as a theater major, studied acting, like studied voice, all of that. Maybe trying to get back into theater. And it's one of my favorite things is to just like literally turn off your brain and react as someone. And I think why it came off so well is because I've known this NPC for so long and literally never been able to RP with them. So it was like very exciting for me. It's first chance.
So this is like the first time then that the party has really had any kind of dialogue with them?
Yeah.
This is the third time you've run this campaign too, right?
Yeah.
I find that incredible. It's such a cool, seemingly so well-defined character.
Well,
So,
yeah.
Above table,
No, but
I'm a huge Erebus stan. Like, I'm just gonna say it. It's
I
fine.
cannot forget the reaction from Liz, and I won't share it. You can share it, Liz, if you'd like. The first time I showed you the character inspiration art for Raven.
listen, everyone bad in this game is hot. Like, everyone bad in this game is hot, and that's my type. Like, I naturally, but this game, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you've all seen the inspiration, the character art, like.
Yeah.
But although my character in the casual game had a very different reaction to the way that they were dressed. And like I think tacky was thrown around. I
Yeah.
think tacky and like trying too hard was
Mhm.
the vibe.
Daniel has a question. What are Godfrey and Scylla's favorite gemstones?
Malachite.
Ooh.
Onyx?
That's what I was thinking. Did you read my brain?
Yeah.
And one more from Daniel. How does the party feel about having met two gods in such a short time?
I mean, I think it conflicts with everything that Scylla was raised with, being a staunch follower of Myceria. That there are these other beings. I don't know that she entirely believes it, but then I don't know how much she believes what she believes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's world breaking for Godfrey and his mind. And it's all bad. Like, it's not good. It's not
Bad,
good.
bad, not good. Is that a book?
Yeah,
Where does that come from?
Oh, it's a band.
Oh,
It's
okay,
a
there we
really good
go.
band. But I wanted to, but I wanted to like rework my Twitter moniker as Bard Not Good, because I'm just not a rogue anymore.
Yeah.
We did a one shot. You want to talk about the one shot?
Yeah, you want to talk about the one shot?
Oh, we got 3 minutes left.
Now or when it
I
comes
think we should
out?
talk about it later.
Oh, that's
After it
right, because it
comes
is
out.
coming out. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
All right. Question you probably definitely can't answer, Sierra.
You said this last time.
I know, because it's the questions I want to ask. Is that red light bad portal a portal to the... I don't know if I could ask this because I think I don't know this for sure. Is it like a portal? Is it a portal to a bad place?
Yeah,
Is it a
I think
portal through
Morgus
time? Like, is
Morgus rolled an Arcana check and was able to like discertain that it's a transportation circle. So it's a portal of some kind. It matches what Guinevere was trying to draw on the floor.
Yeah.
So motives are similar.
So we saw 5 lights. Does that mean there are 5 now new gods of Erebus's type just, chilling, just
There are-
hanging out now?
I would say it's safe to assume that there are 4 teleportation circles open currently.
Ooh.
5, if you count the one that you all left behind running, screaming from.
Also, we haven't entirely ruled out that this is not the bad place. Like you said, those portals might go to the bad place. This might be the bad place.
This might be the bad place too soon.
Yeah.
Did you expect us to go towards the red lights in the sky that suddenly appeared?
I had no expectations. I never have any expectations.
What would
Sorry,
what would
that's just the answer.
Yeah,
so what would a PC, if you were a PC in our party, what would you have encouraged us to do?
Oh,
What would you have wanted to do if you didn't know your game?
that's so hard. I know the game.
yeah.
Pretend you didn't, though.
There's so many
do you
like
like me and Daniel have to do pretend you didn't know this game?
there's so many things in there. I feel like if I were in my world, I would want to play either a ranger or druid. And I probably would have pushed to go to the southwest.
Interesting.
But that means nothing. It literally means nothing. Because I'm not playing the game.
Yeah.
the random character I just made up in my brain that is a ranger or druid and like very kind and cares about things wants to go to the follow your heart place.
I mean, valid.
yeah.
Very fair.
I want to know, Liz, if Godfrey no longer exists, would Scylla be upset?
I mean, yeah. Here's the thing. I think, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, their history working at the court, it is like a long-term colleague. It is like somebody that, like, if they stopped turning up, you would notice. Like, you probably haven't necessarily hung out outside of work, but you got a really good rapport and you respect them and like you notice their absence. I think some version of miss, I think, would be what she feels. Yeah, I think she's got a lot of respect for him.
Any last questions?
Are you excited for the next episode?
Oh my gosh, I can't contain my excitement. I actually listened to it today.
Are you excited for a thing that you get to post after that episode gets released?
Spoilers!
I didn't say shit. I didn't say anything more than that. There's nothing you can glean from that.
There's more info I think I need on that situation. But yes, absolutely. Yeah. Secrets. Yes. Awesome. Thank you both for participating. Thank you all for watching Monthly Minutes.
Thanks for hanging out.
Y'all
Thanks, everyone.
on the other side. Bye.
Bye.